welcome back to Until We Agree.
It is the first episode.
The only podcast where we keep going until we agree. My name's Matt Howard, joined alongside Tyler Pritchard, and we're back with our first episode of
Okay.
Yeah. And so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna tackle some tough questions. Kind of anything you can think about in life that you may not be able to agree on with someone, which some would say is a lot of things. We're just going to address them. It's going to be philosophical. It may not be super deep sometimes, and sometimes it will be. So Tyler, why don't you introduce yourself and kind of talk about what we're going to talk about today?
Yeah, so my name's Tyler. Matt introduced me. I'm a co-host on this show. And kind of the reason we decided to do this is because I asked him the question that, is a bucket a hole? And I was furious with his answer. So instead of continuing with the arguing, we, like normal people, said we should be recording this because people need to hear this. This is what the people want, and this is what the people need.
Right.
So,
Something that's so important about just the dynamic of this relationship that you, the listener, is hearing about right now. We have permanent friendship bracelets on our right wrists. And by the end of the show, we might cut these things off. We've been boys for a long time. And it's kind of coming to a point where I don't know if we can do that anymore. And so we just kind of need a place to voice our grievances with each other. And we've
got some things bubbling up,
yeah,
is what I'd say.
Dude, he's full of bubbles. It's crazy. All right. Tyler, why don't you introduce our first topic of the day?
Well, I already did, but I'll say it again. Is a bucket a hole?
Sure.
Now, I want you to say your answer to this. And I'm just going to hold back my anger. I might have to mute my microphone for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think you should mute the microphone. It sounds horrible. So my answer is just an astounding yes. If we look at the definition of what a hole is, I don't see any reason why a bucket doesn't define a hole in every way. We'll get into it more. There's kind of two schools of thought, and Tyler doesn't really live in either of them. So I would love to hear his input on why he doesn't think a bucket is a hole.
I mean, a bucket is a hole in zero capacity of the definition. So I don't know what definition that you found. Sure. I would love to hear it since you were so confident about the definition.
Well, let me put you on to just words for a second. A bucket has an opening at the top. What do all holes have? An opening at the top. Doesn't really matter like what medium the hole is made out of. If it's made out of plastic, like a bucket, maybe even metal, perhaps. I think I don't think it's about the. I mean, it's not about the. Oh my God, you're okay. So it's not about the material. Yeah.
It's about the fact that there's no plane for there to be a hole in. When you're talking about, hey, we both golf. Mm-hmm. When you're talking about the hole in golf, it's a hole because it's a hole in the ground. But there's a plane in which the hole exists.
So what you're saying,
this bucket is. There's no plane outside of the hole, quote unquote, that you're calling it.
Do you think just nothing in the do you think there's nothing in the air that like puts like presence around the bucket? You can put a bucket in the ground and then suddenly it's a hole. That doesn't make any sense.
You don't put a bucket in the ground. You put a bucket in a hole, and then it's in a hole.
You're saying no. You're not saying anything right now. A bucket is the medium in which the hole exists. Inside the ground or outside the ground. You live in like this weird world where a hole can only exist inside of like dirt. And sure, you can put other stuff inside the dirt. Like
it's not just dirt.
You could put a bucket in like a dirt hole, and suddenly the bucket.
A wiffle ball. Well, it has holes in it.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's because there's plastic around it. I mean, it's not just. It's not made of dirt. It's not.
Let me put you onto.
You're focused on the material.
Let me put you onto.
It's not about the material.
Let me put you onto what is around the rim of a plastic bucket. Plastic.
No, I hear that there's plastic, but what I'm saying, my claim, is that the plastic around I would call it a rim. If it's a rim, it doesn't necessarily lead into a hole. The same way you don't call a basketball hoop a hole.
But here's the thing, you could. Like I think we're not giving enough credit to what the definition of a hole is. That's an overarching term that could probably be defined in a lot of different ways.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna talk real quick. Uh-huh. So a hole, noun. 1, a hollow place in a solid body or surface. So that's the first
That's
definition.
crazy. Wait.
Now you can respond to that in just a second. I want to say the second definition for hole.
Uh-huh.
It describes your room, a small or unpleasant place. So you go ahead.
Okay, I didn't know we were using Google in our arguments. I thought this was more just kind of like taking the essence of a word and living with it. But I'm glad you did, frankly, because what you just said described what I have been saying. The plane is the rim of the bucket. It doesn't matter how wide the plane is. The plane is the plane, and we live on the plane of the rim of the bucket, and then it goes downwards, and it has a point that it stops. In the same way, if you dug a 6-foot hole and put a body in it, the body's at the bottom of the hole. Like there's
You're just stringing words together like you just learned.
What do
how.
you mean?
Like, that doesn't make
what
any
do you
sense.
mean? You're not. You
doesn't
read,
make any sense.
You read the definition and it backed up exactly what I've been saying. There's a plane and there's an opening in the plane. Like I don't see where you're missing.
But don't you think you have to draw the line at some point on the thinness
You just
of
use
the plane?
You use a wiffle ball. Wiffle balls are thinner than buckets. Wiffle balls go straight through.
No, it's not about It's not about the depth of the hole. It's about what's surrounding the hole.
Wiffle balls are
so
thin.
there's it's not about the depth though. It's what's surrounding. Like maybe this might be confusing, but if you cut a wiffle ball and you spread it out, it's a plane. I mean, same as if it's a sphere. But there's a hole.
If I can jump in
a wiffle
if I can
ball.
jump in for 1 second, I'm not alone with the audience here. You just lost everyone with that example. That made no sense. If you want to try again, feel free.
All right, so let's say you have scissors. You know what those are?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
All right. So you're going to cut the wiffle ball.
Okay.
Right? Hello? Have I lost you?
Keep going.
All right. I mean, you're just not saying anything. I'm asking for your. I'm just. You're obviously confused by the last time I laid it out. So I'm just making sure you're following.
I'm following. Yeah, keep going. So you've got the
Dude, you're making me so mad right now. All right. I don't know what you're. Okay. So you cut the wiffle ball.
Cut the wiffle ball, please.
So you cut the wiffle ball, right? You lay it flat. It's now 2-dimensional. Now the plane is what's around the holes. It's plastic around the holes. It goes out more than just.
This makes no sense. What hole are you talking about?
The holes in a wiffle ball, man. What do you mean?
Why do the holes change if they're cut in half or not?
I'm just trying to tell you what I mean by the plane, because what you're saying is that anything circular is a hole, no matter the thinness of the rim around it. I think
true.
the rim needs to be thicker in order to call it a hole. There needs to be more of a plane in which there is a depression in to call it a hole.
There is a depression in a bucket. That's exactly what we're talking about. What
I'm not saying that there's not a depression in it, but the problem is it's not just like a plane that there's a hole in. It's just a sitting bucket. That's just what it is. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it.
A hole is just a sitting hole until you put something in it. What do you mean? You're saying the same thing. You just don't like that the bucket sits above the ground sometimes. You can put the bucket in the ground and it's suddenly a hole.
No, but it's not suddenly a hole. It's inside a hole. That's what makes it a hole. You just said it's. You just.
That would be
you
can
just
put a
gave
hole.
up the whole
No,
argument.
you can put a hole
you
in a
just
hole.
said that you just said it's not a hole until you put it in a hole.
Did I say that? If I said that, I'm so sorry, because what I'm saying is that would be a hole in a hole at that point. Well, I know that's what I was saying. That's what you're saying is suddenly a bucket's only a hole when you put it in a hole is what I was saying, which is just not true. A bucket in itself can be a hole because it meets all the criteria of the definition that you read. It meets every definition of that. I don't know what you were talking about when you brought the scissors with the wiffle ball. I don't think anyone knows what you were talking about. And for that alone, I feel like I've won this. And I feel like we might just have to agree to disagree on it.
I mean, we can. We definitely can. Do you want to move on?
No, I want to be sure that everyone knows that I won that. But yeah, we can move on now.
Well, wait a second though, because I don't think you won anything. Because
Bro,
you're just making
I
up.
won the second you brought the scissors out, and I'm gonna say that right now.
All right, well, real quick, let's pivot. Let's throw the bucket to the side.
Uh-huh.
A cup.
A cup is just a smaller.
Is that a hole?
Just a smaller bucket. So yeah.
It's just a smaller bucket.
A cup and a
Are
bucket.
you on crack?
A cup and a bucket are essentially the same thing.
I mean, yeah, but like, I don't think it constitutes there being a hole.
Like
If there's a hole in my cup, I'd be concerned.
there's a hole in the top of the cup. If there was 2 holes in your cup, you should be concerned.
I mean,
Oh, it got quiet.
I think one cup would do, or one hole in one cup would do the trick. I don't think.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think. You're saying that
Yeah.
the hole, quote unquote, the opening.
Uh-huh.
I would call it
Uh-huh.
more of an opening.
Mhm.
The opening in the cup. You're calling a hole.
The opening the opening is what defines the cup as a whole because it has the opening. That creates the plane that we're so eagerly searching for with the definition.
Now you know what I would. You pop a can lid.
Uh-huh.
I'd call that a hole.
Okay, so I won.
But that's a different thing. Like I'm just telling you my point
A can
of view.
is essentially the same medium as a cup, which is essentially the same medium as a bucket, which is essentially the same medium as a hole because they're all the same thing.
No, the functions don't mean that they're the same thing.
Yeah, but like at their core, if you like break down the makeup of a bucket, you break down the makeup of a cup, you break down the makeup of a can, they all essentially have the same genetic makeup if we're like really getting into the granular
same
level.
Genetic,
Yeah, the same genetic makeup.
So they both spit in a cup, sent it off
Look,
to 23.
I think you know.
Got back, and
I think you know
it
what
was
I
a
mean.
match.
I think you know what
It was
I
a
mean by
DNA
that.
relative
I think
match.
you know what I mean by that. If you break down
No, I
if you
don't.
break down the most basic properties, they all essentially do the same thing. So they all, by
Doesn't make
definition,
any sense.
they all by my definition of a whole, all fall into the category of a whole. Is it
So
my
your definition of a hole is that it holds things.
No.
Hole and hold are two different words.
No,
right?
no.
One has a D on the end.
No. So what I'm saying is they all do the same thing. They all meet the definition of a plane that has an opening that can it can hold things. Yes. And so they all meet my definition in the same way. So like to add more mediums into the whole definition that you're searching for from me it's gonna be the same thing. Now I will grant this.
My bad. My buffoonery alarm just went off.
I will grant you that is my first thought that all these things are holes. No, but that's because I'm not thinking about it deeply enough. But if I start thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, I mean, if you like ask me if it's a hole, then yeah, it's a hole.
I don't think we're going anywhere on this.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's budging because what I just heard
Mm-hmm.
was maybe the worst argument of all time.
Oh, did you
for any topic?
Did you go back and play back your scissor argument? Because yeah, I would agree with you then. So why don't we?
You don't even know what scissors are.
Yeah,
that's why you were so confused.
I do know what scissors are actually. Why don't we go and move on? We have not agreed. We didn't even agree on what scissors are. So let's move on.
All right.
I'm so mad. Okay.
All right. Well, the next topic we're gonna go to. It's a pretty familiar one.
Mm-hmm.
The trolley problem. Have you heard of it?
I have, but why don't you, for the listeners, explain a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not surprised you haven't heard of it.
Oh, I said I have.
So-
I have.
So basically, and we can kind of play with the numbers here a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but basically, there's a train. It's speeding train, and this is not one of those floating ones. Like this has wheels. It's touching the tracks and everything. It's coming fast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going towards 10 people.
Okay.
Innocent people, children even.
Okay.
And you're standing in front of a lever. You can't do anything but pull this lever. If you pull the lever, it doesn't derail the train. It changes the train's course. But on that track, there's one person trapped.
Mm-hmm.
So you can either pull the lever and you are directly responsible for that one person's death, although the 10 will survive, or you do nothing and you're a bystander and the 10 people that sadly pass tragically.
So one thing I would just like to level set, just one thing, and then I'll let you take your side first because I took the first side on the first argument. Just so we're clear, you did mention that the 10 are just innocent babies. Are we saying that we know the morality of all the people on both sides of the tracks, and like we can just assume that they're all perfectly equally moral? Is that what we're saying, or that we don't know? There's like a mystery.
I think they're 10 infants in this scenario, because if we want to get to the very like the morality of it, we need the purest of souls.
So 10 infants on one side and 1 infant on the other side.
Yep.
And the train is currently going towards the 10 infants unless I make the decision to pull the lever and go the other side.
Yep.
Okay. So what side are you taking?
I'm pulling that lever.
Are you serious? You're pulling?
Yeah.
You're pulling the lever?
You have to pull the lever.
No, because then you're playing God.
And?
You're going to live with the fact that you played an active hand in killing one person.
You killed 10.
Well,
if you don't pull the lever.
I hate that we're doing like infants because I don't think they would understand my side of the story actually.
I mean, they wouldn't understand your side of the story, and I don't either. So why don't you explain it?
I think I would pull the lever twice.
Now, why would you do that?
Because if they weren't infants, I would pull the lever twice. If they were consciously aware of like what the stakes were, I would pull the lever twice. Just because, like, at the end of the day, I don't want to be responsible for it. I don't want to be responsible for the death of anyone. But I think if I pull the lever twice, it goes back to its natural state. But both sides get to experience joy, and experience just like that one feeling. But it doesn't matter what side ends up like surviving. I think it will be valuable for the side that doesn't make it to at least get to experience joy one last time. So that's why I would pull the lever twice, but it makes it tougher with infants because at that point.
Wait, real quick. Yeah. Good news and bad news. Good news, they're all adults now because of how long that just took. Bad news, they don't understand it because it didn't make any sense. So keep going.
Oh, so are we saying they're all adults now? All equally moral adults is the debate now.
Sure.
Yeah, then I stand by it. I would pull it twice. Because if you pull it twice, the one person gets to experience that final rush and relief of like experiencing joy in a way that they haven't felt before. Just like knowing like, wow, I faced death and I'm going to get away with it. Wait, no, sorry. The 10 people would experience that first. And they would say, wow, I just faced down death and now I'm not going to die. And what a feeling that would be for them. I think they'd be really relieved by that. And then I would pull the lever again, so that one person who just faced this existential dread, just to feel the exact same like overwhelming sense of like relief and joy of surviving this encounter. So and then I end up back where I started, where it's like I never pulled the lever at all, but I gave people some joy first. Anyways, that's my side.
Sure. So your argument is that you're going to directly kill 10 people because you've pulled the lever twice. And that's just starting from the very end.
I think
so you're directly killing 10 people because you're pulling the lever twice. But then also,
I would disagree with that, but go on.
Heavily traumatizing the one person and bringing them down with you, because I mean they're probably gonna say it should have been me. It should have been me. That's what I mean.
Well, I think they're saying that either way, and so that's why I'm saying let them experience like a real rush of life, frankly. So I don't think they would go down with me because at the end of the day, it's not their fault. It's not my fault either. So
I gotta say that's the most sociopathic answer I've ever heard. That doesn't make any
sense.
You're
choosing to kill a person. Like you're actively making a decision to kill someone.
Am I choosing to kill one or am I choosing to save 10?
Whatever helps you sleep at night, man. I'm gonna sleep just fine because I didn't kill anyone.
Except for the 10 people.
No, because nothing. I didn't play a hand in that because that was always going to happen.
You touched the lever twice.
But I took it back to where it started, so it doesn't count.
All right, if we pivot to another example.
Okay.
In the same, like, I just want to kind of get an analogy out there.
Yeah, please do.
Like, let's say you're playing Russian roulette.
I love your analogies. Russian roulette are we playing with scissors?
Yeah, do you know what those are?
Yeah, I'm very familiar actually.
Okay. So let's say we're playing Russian roulette let's throw it out there. Let's say it's a gun.
Okay. I can get on board.
You can see the bullet. They can't see the bullet, like where it's at. They spin it. They're about to. It's about to be over.
Okay.
You go over there with your grimy little fingers. You twist it so that it's empty, and then you say, "Nah, just kidding," and you twist it back. What is that? What is that called?
I don't think I would want to play.
Okay.
I can play the trolley game, because at the end of the day, a game is a game.
At the end of the day, 10 people die. Yeah,
No.
It's a fun game. Yeah.
No, at the end of the day, I didn't do anything with that. But like the game, I could say I could.
Twice.
I know I could save. The difference is either someone dies or no one dies in the Russian roulette example.
Sure.
Right.
That's maybe not the best example to the whole scenario, but I just meant that one part of like you're changing the outcome and then changing it back. What is that like?
Right.
Do you not?
And in that situation, it would be kind of twisted, and I would lose sleep
In
over
that situation.
Yeah.
But
this one,
Yeah.
I'm just letting nature play out as it was happening. But I'm just like adding in some human experience to it. I feel like you're only debasing my side. Why are you taking your side besides you're saving lives, like 10 lives versus 1 life? Like dive into the psychology of what happens to you when you actively decide, like how do you react at the end of the day after you make that decision?
Well, all right, so where do you want me to start? So the train's speeding down the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
The fastest I've ever seen a train move.
Mm-hmm.
And I pull the lever because I see 10 innocent babies. on the
Adult
tracks.
babies, yes.
Adult babies. It's very disturbing, but they're adult babies.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought process is, 10 versus 1. I mean, what are the chances we're going to miss that one,
Jeez. Oh my dude, that seems worse. That seems way worse. What you just said. What are the chances we're gonna miss that one? You're quiet because you're laughing right now because you know that was an insane thing to say. Yeah, there it is. There it is. No. All right. Is that 2-0?
No.
2-0, Matt. Yeah, you want to try again?
Wait.
Keep going.
Because
buddy.
listen.
Yeah.
No. What I meant to say was like 10. That's a lot of people to mess. Like there's gonna be like let's assume 3 family members, and that's low. 3 family members will miss each person. That's 30 people affected.
Mm-hmm.
Versus 3, nah.
It's still the dismissiveness is what's really getting me, and what makes me think that you're not taking the human element into this as much as you should. No one's gonna miss that baby adult. That's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna go and call it. It's 2-0 me.
You're not allowed to do that.
I'm gonna sleep well at night because I won. I won both of these games so far, so I've already won the day, and I didn't kill 10 people or 1 person. You killed 1 person.
What I will say,
1 killed a 0. Yeah.
What I will say,
1 killed a 0.
is
Yeah.
if there were 10,000 people, 10,000
Mm-hmm.
on the track, and then one other one, and it was you.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen a lever be pulled so fast.
I'm the one. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you're the one. There's 10,000 people on the other side, and they're all murderers.
Okay, so then when you bring the human element of all the people into it, it does change the debate.
They're all murderers.
So
and
it's
they're on the other
10,000 of you basically because you've already killed the 1 person. You're keeping 10,000 murderers alive and instead of just keeping me alive, who's never killed anyone. You've already killed 1 person. I've killed 1 person less than you.
You killed 10 people.
No, I didn't. I didn't play a hand in that. I had no say. I just let nature play its course. I just added joy into the equation.
Joy and dread. Like, I mean, it kind of balances out, I think.
They were going to face dread no matter what.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't.
But what I
wouldn't
say,
think you would.
No, but what I will say is make it 20,000 vicious murderers. Like I'm talking about the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Maximum security. I would pull that lever in a heartbeat if you were there squirming like a little rat.
Yeah, I know you would.
So
Yeah, I know you would.
and then I would put you in a real hole.
That's the kind of person you are.
This bucket.
Yeah. This all is adding up.
I think we should move on because
Yeah.
I'm
You've dug yourself into a
getting-
deep bucket. Yeah.
no, I haven't at all.
Yeah. Why don't you go and move to the next topic? Because I don't quite understand this one, and you really like have like a really firm stance on it. So I'd love to see you explain it again to the people.
All right, so here we go. This guy that doesn't understand scissors, doesn't understand toll roads either. So get ready for this. So everybody knows how toll roads work. If you don't live in a state with toll roads, you basically pay to get to your destination a bit quicker. So the question is, if you have a 10-minute drive, and let's just call the toll a flat rate of $1.
Okay.
You can pay the $1 toll, and it cuts your drive in half to 5-minute drive if you take the toll.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you are driving an hour, but the last 10 minutes of your drive is the same as the previous 10 minutes that I mentioned, or 5 if you take the toll, you can cut it into 55 minutes if you take the toll.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So either way, you either have a 10-minute drive or an hour drive. These are separate instances.
Yes.
Would you take the toll at 10 minutes but not an hour? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, because in my brain, I see 10 minutes down to 5 if you take the toll, and I go, I'm cutting my time in half. Here's $1. Keep it. And then when I see an hour drive down to 55, if I pay $1, I'm saying I'm already driving an hour. I'm already driving, an hour. I don't need to save 5 minutes.
Sure.
So I'm not going to pay the toll.
Yeah, I hear your side. Can I admit something to you though?
Sure.
I disagree.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
What could you possibly disagree with about my opinion?
Yeah, so here's my thought on it. 10 minutes is 10 minutes, like whatever, big deal. When you get to an hour-long drive, something that I think you're failing to take into consideration are the variables that go into an hour-long drive. You see a lot, if you're driving for an hour, you're bound to see, if you drive for an hour every single day compared to if you drive for 10 minutes every single day, you're bound to see a lot more car accidents in a day if you're driving 2 hours both ways commuting. So if I'm thinking about what are ways to minimize the chances of seeing a car accident and slowing down my day from an hour already to say an hour and a half, maybe even 2 to 3 hours if it's a bad enough car accident, I'm taking the toll road every single time just to minimize my chances of running into those opportunities because there's fewer cars on the toll roads. And when there's fewer cars
going faster, fewer cars going faster.
I think if we delve into the statistics, I think there's probably fewer accidents on toll roads, and I'm going to stand by that.
Do you want me to look that up right now?
Please do. All
right, because I mean, I would love to know. I wouldn't doubt it, but I can't. I just can't agree with you right now.
Yeah, and so I think my idea is if I'm commuting an hour every single day, let me just take out some variables. Let me take out some time because we have families, you know. We need to live life in the present, and I think if you're not taking the toll roads, you're not living in the present. Because you're
all right. So the data does tell us that the fatality rate for toll roads is lower than that of other roads.
Perfect.
But my issue with that, not that I have an issue with there being a lower fatality rate, but my issue with the premise is that it's just like it's 5 minutes out of your hour drive, like percentage wise. That's not very much. But when you're looking at your 10-minute drive, it's half. It's 50%.
Yeah, and I understand the ratios, but like at the end of the day, 10 minutes is just 10 minutes. Like that's really not that much. An hour is like, oh my, I have to drive for an hour. There's so many things that could go wrong in an hour. So why don't I just take out the opportunity for more things to go wrong and let me just stay on the toll road? It's just $1, like you said.
But it's not staying on the toll road. You're on the toll road for 5 minutes at the end.
Yeah, there's a chance. There's a chance that there could be an accident in the last 5 minutes. You know what they say about statistics? You're in a higher chance of getting in accidents within 3 miles of your home. That's where.
But isn't that because
danger
isn't
is.
that just because that's not where danger is. It's just where you drive.
No, that's just where danger is, I think. And so
whoa! I think we found a more interesting topic to debate. You're saying that danger lives within 3 miles of every single individual person's home.
I think there's a statistical argument for that. Yeah, I live in a world of statistics. You live in a world of fantasy. You keep showing that when you're like, no one will care about one person dying. No one will care that I cut a wiffle ball in half and now I have 2 holes or whatever you said. You're living in this world that doesn't take into effect like actual like real life like people. People want to like. I have 4 kids. People want to like go home and see their kids.
That's just not.
That's not true. That's not true. But if I did, I would not want to be on the road longer than I have to because I don't want to commute all the time.
I mean, I hear you. If it was free, if toll roads were free, and we printed money, or we printed money to pay for these things, like yeah, okay, take the toll.
So your argument.
Why am I going to give it $1?
Wait, your argument
for this last 5 minutes.
Your argument is if toll roads were free, you would take more toll roads. I think everyone would agree with that. And then that's not a toll road at that point. You're just on another road.
That's what I'm saying, though. It's like when you're having to pay $1, like you're only saving, really less than 20% of your trip.
Right. There is a ratio aspect to it, and I do hear you on that.
I think I'm way off on the math there. It's less than that, isn't it?
Yeah, like from a ratio perspective, but like if we're looking at just like a total time saved, yeah, it's 5 minutes versus 5 minutes, but I'm accounting for variables. There's more variables in an hour-long drive. And
you keep listen. I'm not sure that you even know what that means anymore because you keep saying it.
Accidents, bro.
Explaining
car accidents, bro. Traffic, bro. There's more traffic.
Like that's not traffic is a variable, but you can't just say like accidents.
That's a variable, bro.
It's a possibility.
Getting pulled over by the police. I bet there's fewer police on toll roads too. Quote me on that one too.
That would be the worst quote of all time.
What? You think there's more police officers on a toll road?
No, not that there's more or less. That quote's just incredibly boring.
Just a lame quote.
Yeah.
I'm not going to agree with that because we have more to talk about, but I can see where you're coming from. Why don't we talk about something we can't agree on? Do we have one?
Yeah.
Because at this point, I don't know.
Something that we could agree on. I think it's perfectly acceptable to cuddle with the boys.
All right. Well, leave a comment down below. We'll see you next week. Let me know what you want to debate on. We appreciate it. This has been Until We Agree.